when you're constantly looking for success, you end up trying to find ways to point towards someone for your failures. But really, that's not how you should handle failure. Anyway, welcome to day 175 of my 365-day series. I'm Glorporous and I think got out to playing Minecraft. Today is gonna be a little bit different. I just realized that I can run this shader pretty damn well. Just looking at this area, like wow, it looks pretty cool. Anyway, I was thinking for today we start to actually work on the gate that I'm gonna be placing in this little path that I have from my little village all the way to my cherry blossom area. But I do need a lot of stone. When I get a lot of stone, that means a lot of grinding. Here's the thing, I don't want this series to have terrible pacing. I feel like the editing is not very catchy, it's not very, how would I say this? It's not as attention grabbing as other videos you would usually find online. I'm not too proud of that, so I'm gonna try my best to skip through all of the grinding, but if I do say anything interesting, I'll be sure to let you know. Yeah, I found some coal over here, that's not bad. Okay, you know what? While I'm grinding all of this stone, I should probably just tell you why I decided to make this video today. So, if you're not aware, I'm a YouTuber named Glorporous that just records very casual, slow-paced videos, talking about my own feelings and whatever. And at a certain point of this journey, I started to feel like this all meant absolutely nothing because I am confined by a whole bunch of limitations, honestly. For example, monetary limitations. Obviously, I can't just afford an RTX 4090, not a 4090, a 5090 PC with maxed out graphics and the best shaders I could possibly ever use. And I do have shaders and I do have some pretty good equipment for the limitations that I've been given. I could do plenty. And I think I'm underappreciating the limitations that have been put on me. I'm not necessarily articulating what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that it's difficult. You know, whenever you are met with a sort of roadblock, I am very quick to find blame in someone else. Let's say exercise. I was never put into a basketball or football or I don't know, the piano, music, all of those sorts of stuff. I've never really had cheese. My face, I don't have eczema or anything, but like this part of my face is like really itchy right now. I've never really been put into those programs. Now let me give you some backstory as to why I didn't get into one of those things. I wanted to try basketball because a lot of people back then complimented me on my height, which honestly, in my specific country, I am deemed fairly tall for my age. I'm 16 years old and I'm around 178 centimeters in height. So, you know, it's pretty decent, but it's not all that. And a lot of parents and friends suggested that I should go into basketball, you know, but at the time I was maybe like 10 years old when this happened. So basically my mom asked like, oh, do you want to try out this basketball course that I found online and or something like that, or with like a friend or something like that. And then I just said like, okay, sure, in my little voice. So as we went there, I got ready and the coach put us through some drills, you know, like having to over some like cones and all of that. I vividly recall after maybe like 5 or 10 minutes of just doing random drills, I got sort of frustrated. I thought to myself, like, when the hell am I gonna get to the basketball? You know, when am I actually going to get to the part that actually matters? And I got so frustrated because honestly my temperament is it temperament? I don't know what it's called. Temper, let's say, is absolutely terrible, and it's still, I feel like it's still terrible up until now. Just like that, my mom decided, you know what, this kid's not suited for basketball. I'm not going to force him any longer. That memory replays in my mind a lot, like a whole bunch of times. And whenever I think of it, I specifically blame my parents for not pushing me more, you know? Like, why couldn't they force me or something like other parents would? Or why couldn't I just be put into an opportunity that maybe at first, initially, I didn't want, but I ended up actually enjoying, later on. Like, I feel like if I had actually gone into basketball and I was pushed further and further by my parents, I would have probably excelled a whole bunch, and I would be a lot more better. Really, I'd have another skill that I have in life. Okay, I think that's a lot of stone. That's more than enough stone. And the reason I mentioned this is because, like, there's a whole bunch of factors, right? First of all, it's like I don't really like failure and all of that. Back then, I was just used to getting things immediately, and I will in fact blame myself for that in the past. Like I could always go back into it. I could try it again, but I'm a little bit shy. I don't really feel like approaching a guy and saying like, oh, could I join your course or something like that. So I just ended up never really doing that. It might be my hair, honestly, that's getting in my eyes. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Alright, anyway, let's actually plan this build out first. There's a whole bunch. It's so hard to unpack some of these topics sometimes, but I really want to, and I think I really need to, because honestly, like, if I don't, you guys won't really understand what I'm trying to get at, right? And I'm not gonna bother with editing all of this either, because I don't know, I really feel like I should edit a lot more as well, but I'm not doing that for whatever reason. Anyway, this is where I'm gonna be putting my gate, and let's just clear out some of this dirt over here, because we're gonna need some flat land in a moment. So let's just clear all of this, get rid of that. Now, if we just continue our path a little bit further, we have, okay, a little bit imbalanced still, but you know what, screw it. We're gonna make the gate now. So hold on a second. Fucking jeez. Okay, I midway through all of this grinding, I just realized something. But this is something I've talked about before, just a disclaimer. Basically, I've been given a very unique path in life where most of the things that are gonna be like big decisions in my life are things that I myself have to decide. And yes, for example, like where I want to go for university, right? It's a very big decision that I have yet to make, that I have yet to really progress in. And usually with other parents, with other people, their parents are going to be a big influence into how they make their choices and all of that, but I've been given a lot of free will. And I sort of also want to say that maybe if I had a little bit more guidance on how to handle things, maybe if my parents taught me how to be more resilient in the brain, then that would have significantly helped me out. But you need to look beyond that. Okay, here's the point I'm trying to get at. For real, this time, you need to look beyond all of the flaws that are going on in your life. What you need to be looking at right now is yourself. What specifically can you change about yourself right now? What is it that will make you a stronger person than you were yesterday? And I'll be honest, I'm not the best person at dealing with these sorts of questions. I feel like a lot of the time when I am told to do something independently, I feel miserably, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. I really want to a whole bunch more, and it's gonna take resilience. Actually doing stuff by myself because I've reached puberty. I'm 16 years old and I haven't gotten a lot of stuff figured out. I'm really trying my best. This build is looking still a little bit too short. Jeez. And honestly, so much could change if I just want it to, if I just will it into reality. Like I have a lot of restrictions, not necessarily in the choices that I can make, but just in general life. Like I don't have infinite money. I didn't come from a rich family. I don't really have like any legacy. Like if you're aware of like legacy stuff, you know how some universities are like, oh, this guy's parents were in our school once, so we're gonna let him in immediately. I don't have any of that. I have essentially nothing to work from. I have no really good examples to follow in my life, and the only example or the only person that can lead me onto the path that I want to is myself. Who would have known? There's a reason I made this path. Thankfully I have this diamond hole, so I'm just gonna place this guy right back. Jeez, I did not mean to press R. And this build is looking very ugly, so I will be right back with actually making it properly. Alright, I just figured out how tall this build needs to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need to put at least 4 more blocks up there. I have scaffolding. Why am I not using scaffolding? Jeez. Essentially, I've been placed in what feels like the most difficult situation. I'm in a middle class family, which essentially means that how do I phrase this? Like I'm comfortable enough to not do anything in my life, but also at the same time there are issues. I can't just solve everything immediately. So it would be very irresponsible of me to say that this is the most difficult situation to be in. In fact, I would say this is the middle, right? I've been put in the middle of everything, and it's like being average. You're not sticking out here, you're not sticking out there. Like let's say you're the poorest of the poor. Not to discriminate or anything, I just want to give an actual example. When you're poorer, but you have determination, when you have will, you're going to do whatever it takes to change your life, right? But if you're on the other end of the spectrum, if you're very rich or whatever, you're not gonna do anything. You're set for life, right? I'm in the middle where like I can't get everything I want, but at the same time I have enough, which is a double-edged sword. I have enough to live off my life fine, but if I want to get on the other side of the spectrum, if I want wealth, if I want success, if I want whatever it is that makes me feel alive, I'm gonna have to try. So I know this is terrible pacing, and I know these two pillars look a little bit like two certain towers that were in the US. RIP to all of the people that were in that incident. Alright, anyway, enough joking around. I really need to finish today's video. So yeah, being put in the middle is not the greatest. It's not easy, and it's also not hard. It's just I've been sort of trained to feel comfortable where I am, even though honestly speaking I do not want to be comfortable here, and I'm not. It's like a weird mix. Like I could say I'm comfortable and I'm not comfortable in the same time, and it's really difficult to get things in motion. It's really difficult to like just tell yourself one day like you need to start moving or you're screwed for life. No? Okay. Alright. This is the big gate. And I think as much as I want to refine this thing, unfortunately that's gonna be the end for today's video. It takes a whole bunch of back and forth to really finish the structure, and I think this is a whole bunch of progress. I know it really doesn't look like a lot. It looks like a bunch of Jenga blocks that were just like, what, there's one here, and then I just stack another one on there. But really, I'm gonna get moving. Also, whatever I said yesterday, like cutting my nails, washing the dishes and all of that, I'm still really grateful that I did all of that, and I'm really grateful that I acknowledged all of the small things, but now I'm focusing on a bigger scale. Okay, I'm speaking way too much. That's gonna be all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. So bye bye.